Hello and welcome back to another video. I do like to come back and have a look perhaps at some boots that I've been wearing and that I reviewed, and tell you of some problems or faults that I've had with these boots, because I might have given it a glowing report when I first bought these boots, and I have a pair here that I want to do that. I bought these boots around about a year ago. I had some old Togi Canyon boots that I'd gardened in for many years, and probably 11 or 12 years I'd had the Togi Canyon, and they'd been brilliant boots for gardening. I loved them. I don't like wearing Wellingtons, apart if I'm concreting or doing anything really messy like that, but they rotted out around the sole there. But I mean, they were of an age, they'd done remarkably well, and I'd worn them so much. So I replaced them with these Mark Todd country boots, and I did a review of them, and I really liked them. They were very comfortable, they were easy to get on and off, they had a lot of positive points, and they were £75. They had been reduced a lot. For those that don't know Mark Todd, he was a 3-day event rider, a very successful 3-day event rider, a very fantastic rider, to be honest. He came a little bit unstuck when he was he went on, after he finished eventing professionally, he went on training horses, and he was filmed whipping a horse with a tree branch. I have never seen the video. I don't know how serious it was, but he did get a ban for this, and it kind of tarnished his name a little bit naturally, because that's not a nice thing to do to a horse or anything. And I think basically these were sold by an online equestrian firm, and I think they were, I'm not going to say distancing themselves from the name, but they were perhaps finding Mark Todd stuff hard to sell after this incident with the horse branch whipping. So they were I think they should have retailed at well over around about £130, £140 plus, but they were £76 when I bought them, and I like them, and I wore them in the autumn and gardened in them, and but then I've not overworn them, I haven't worn them to excess, and I've always cleaned them. They've always been stored in the dry. If they've got wet, I've renopured them. I haven't recently, because I'll show you why in a minute. But then I noticed this later on, at the end of the spring, what happened was, first of all, the rubber all started coming away from there, and then that's on both sides, and in fact that's really worn down, and half of it's broke off there, and that one lets the wet in now, so that's not a good start when your toes start getting wet. If you're walking through wet grass, or even just working on wet soil, that can happen. But then a couple of weeks later, I found the boot felt this boot felt very uncomfortable. The insole had been pushed up almost, it felt like. Well, I kept on working. I was only on my allotment, and I got home and took the boot off, and to my astoundment I found a stone had gone right through, had made a hole. Right, it wasn't a particularly sharp stone, it wasn't a piece of flint or anything, it was just a kind of little knobbly stone, had gone right through the sole and come up into the insole, and you can see it was also there. I've got another hole there, so now there's a great hole in the sole there, which after such a short, basically just under a year, I thought was really absolutely useless. So I can't recommend these boots anymore. That is an update. To me they are shot. You couldn't wear them if you're walking across wet grassland, or even gardening, as I said, in the wet. Your feet's going to get wet, this one, and on your toes as well, where that's gone. So very extremely poor boots in my view, to do that with under a year. I know some of these boots perhaps only have a life of 18 months to 2 years, and I accept that. Some of the more cheaper sort of country boots, like De Barry's, well, they go on and on and on. I've got a pair of Barrys, you know, that are 15 years old that are getting very worn now. But I thought this was absolutely pathetic, and as I say, I certainly wouldn't recommend these. I wouldn't recommend buying them, which is a shame really, because they were comfortable to wear, they were nice to work in, they weren't too heavy, they were nice and light. But as I say, they are now not very waterproof and useless in my book. So there we go, that's the Mark Todd country boots that lasted under a year, you know, and that was just doing very light garden duties in them. So I've not really done anything, you know, desperately, you know, what you call hard work to wear them out. So it's nice to update videos, and as I say, just let people know I should steer well clear. It might be just the fact that I was unlucky and that had a faulty sole on it, who knows, because a stone shouldn't go up through there like that, you know. Well, I don't think it should in under a year's time anyway, so perhaps I was just unlucky, but I certainly wouldn't recommend them to anybody, and we'll perhaps have a look in a few weeks or so, you know, what I'm going to replace them with, because I do like a couple of pairs of these. I have got the Ariat boots on here at the moment, which is another, these are very sturdy, and I have been gardening since, if I'm doing anything in wet grass or on the wet, I've been wearing these Ariat country boots now. So yeah, these will be confined to the bin, because I say, to me, you know, if a boot doesn't keep your feet at least, you know, dry as much as it can, well, it's hopeless. And with that great hole, as I could poke my finger right up through there, right to the bottom of the foam insole now. So there we go. And it's now blowing a gale, and it looks as though it's going to come on to rain here. My garden could do with the rain, but perhaps not the annual plants, because they don't appreciate the rain on the flowers. But as always, thank you for watching. Thank you for the new subscribers. Thanks to for your lovely comments. Please do think about subscribing. It's, you know, it does help us smaller channels grow, so they tell me, and I really do appreciate it, you know, because I feel this is a kind of getting to a little community, and it's great, as I say, to get your kind, wonderful comments. As always, we'll be back with some more boots very soon. Until that point in time, my best wishes, and I'll catch up with you soon. And until that point in time, bye for now.